Do you want to start a podcast to increase your visibility, your reach, but ultimately your reputation as an authority in your field? And you want to do that in a streamlined way so it doesn't take you multiple podcast episodes and a lot of time and heartache and tears? Well, stick around because I'm going to share what you must focus on if you want to do that. Hi, my name is Anne-Marie Cross. I'm known as the Podcast Queen, and I have been podcasting since 2008. So I have made all of the mistakes and then some, and I want you to avoid all of that time that I took to find a system, to find a process that enabled me to really build not only influence and impact, but also income from all of the additional reach and visibility my podcasts were generating for me. So one of the things that you want to focus on first, it's like any strategy or anything that you want to focus on when you're thinking about implementing something in your business, and this is true for a podcast as well, is start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. What do I mean by that? Let's just unpack that for a moment. Starting with the end in mind is what is the goal, the outcome that you want to generate from all of the additional visibility and, of course, reputation building that you're doing from that podcast. And hopefully I would, if we were sitting face to face with one another, you would say, well, I want to build my business. I want to grow my business, generate inquiries, and ultimately get paying clients from my podcast, which would be a really great response. So what you need to start to think about when you're creating your podcast is, if that is the goal in mind, what are the strategies that I need to have in place to enable me to take that listener into a lead and then ultimately into a paying client? So you can see that there's strategies and tactics and a process that you need to have in place. So considering and thinking about technology first as far as what microphone you're going to get and all of that, don't focus on that first. Think firstly about strategy. I'm going to hold something up for you. This is what I call, make sure there, this is what I call my Are You Ready to Launch Your Thought Leadership podcast. And within that, it's a quiz. Within that, there are 5 columns, so 5 pillars, and each pillar has a specific set steps that you want to have in place so that you know when you launch your podcast from the very first episode, you are going to not only generate visibility, you're not only going to generate interest and engagement from listeners, but also have a sequence that gets those listeners from your podcast and onto to your list. So here are some things that you need to consider. You have to have that goal in mind, that outcome. What is that? And the outcome that I'm encouraging all my clients to have in place is to get that person into a resource so that they can further deepen their experience with your knowledge, so that they can really see that you are someone who's an expert in their field, as well as nurture them through the customer's buyer's journey, which is, as you know, awareness, consideration, and then decision. So awareness is where they're aware that they've got a problem and they're looking for a solution. So if you provide some really good content as part of your podcast, and I say to all of my clients, create a 3-part podcast series first as your very first episodes, and then the call to action at the end of any other podcast episodes that you continue to do. And I'm assuming you're going to do an ongoing podcast. Your call to action is to get onto your list to access that podcast series. And then, of course, that podcast series is going to nurture them through the challenges that are helping them overcome their challenges. You want to educate them about what they may not realize that they're doing that is incorrect. You might want to educate them on myths and mistruths and misconceptions. Many of you I know are change makers. You're wanting to challenge the status quo in your industry. So talk about that in your podcast, but take them through that guided step so that by the time that you take them through that 3-part podcast series, those people who are ready to make a decision will, and on your call to action. Now, I have created my own my own Thought Leader podcast series. So I don't only teach. So I'm not only teaching you this, I'm actually going to give you an experience so you can see this in action. So if you want to go to annemariecross.com/podcast series, annemariecross.com/podcast series, I'll put a link below. You'll get to experience my own podcast series that I've created. So the strategy that I'm teaching you is something that we've just implemented. Actually, we've just rolled out. So you can kind of experience that. And it's great content. If you want to become known as an industry thought leader, leader, especially with a podcast, then this podcast series is going to be relevant for you. So not only are you going to be learning, getting golden nuggets from that content, you're also going to be able to see it and observe it and experience it from someone who is considering creating your own, because that's what you need to focus on first before you launch your podcast, before you even start worrying about technology and equipment. What is the call to action that I want? What's the outcome that I want? What is the goal in mind, the outcome in mind? And how can I implement the right strategies and processes and tactics that enable me to start to build that momentum that I want from the very first episode? So annemariecross.com/podcast series, sign up for that. That is what I recommend that you do start thinking about as well as, of course, alerting you to the fact that you might have seen we're doing some promotions at the moment of my upcoming workshop in Melbourne. If you go to podcastingwithpurpose.com/workshop, you can come in person, spend 4 hours with me. We will map out your own idea to launch podcast blueprint. You'll also get a copy of my book, Industry Thought Leader, How to Go from Invisible to Influential and Profitable with a Podcast. Dives a lot deeper into a lot of the strategies as well as really mapping out so you've got a clear idea. Strategy has to come first. Equipment, don't worry about equipment. As I've said to some of my clients who are going through my Podcasting with Purpose course, technology shouldn't matter. You can have the best microphone, the most expensive microphone, but if you don't have the right strategy, if you don't know what makes you unique and how you can really cut through the noise online with your message and deliver it in such a way that it stands out, captures people's attention and maintains that, then it doesn't matter that you've got the most expensive microphone, because people are just not going to listen or engage. So those are two resources that I certainly highly recommend you check out. annemariecross.com/podcast series to give you an experience of my podcast series, as well as checking out that workshop. And my team and I are actually putting together an online workshop. We've been asked, are you doing this online as well? We are, and so hang tight. We'll open up some dates or a date on that, and that might be an opportunity if you're located outside of Melbourne, or the dates that we've got there are not suitable for you, or if you are international as well, maybe one of the virtual workshop is going to be a better option for you. That's all from me. So what do you focus on first when you start a podcast? Strategy and tactic always has to be first, which of course is aligning with your outcome in mind and what you want to start to generate once you start your podcast. Bye for now.